Hi, my name's Paul Grogan and welcome to the Gaming Rules monthly video log for the month of February 2019. This video is being recorded at the start of March 2019 and is going to cover pretty much all of the games that I've played, all of the content that I've created and what I've got planned for this month. So as always, thank you very much to all of my Patreon supporters who make this type of video possible. And if you do enjoy my content, then please consider supporting me over at patreon.com/gaming rules. So let's get on with the games that I've been playing in February 2019, which, to be honest, wasn't very much. I was really bad at keeping my BGG playlist up to date, but what I do is I try and take a photo of every game that I've played, and then basically yesterday I went through all of the photos and updated my geek list, my played list on BGG, and I was very surprised as to how few games there were on there. I've played in total 12 games in the month, and that's not a lot when you consider that Arkham Horror, the card game, is 7 of those. So more than 50% of the games that I played in February were Arkham Horror, the card game. Now, for those of you who follow me locally or see my posts on the Slack channel or Twitter, you'll know that I'm playing a lot of Arkham Horror at the moment. I think the game is absolutely fantastic. It's not without its flaws, and there are a couple of things in the game which specifically are things which normally mean that I wouldn't play that game. Drawing the token out of the bag is effectively roll to resolve, which is a mechanic which I don't like in my games. But the Arkham Horror experience, it's not a Euro game, and I go into it knowing that it's not a Euro game, and there is a luck factor involved in it, but the game is just so fantastic. I have been borrowing Rick's entire collection of it for the last year, I think, and it's about time that I gave Rick his copy back, so I had to think about it and I decided, am I going to actually get this game myself? And I decided yes, so I'm now a few £100 lighter, but as of this weekend when I go to Aircon and I will be picking up the last of the bits that I was missing, I should have the complete copy of the Arkham Horror card game. So yes, I'm playing a lot of that. It's absolutely fantastic. We played through, so over the course of the month, we finished off the Dunwich Legacy. So we played all of the remaining scenarios of that. And then when I went over to the Czech Republic, because I'm completely addicted to the game at the moment, I found a couple of people who also wanted to play it there. I played it with Tyler and Justin, and we played through the whole of the Night of the Zealot. We played it over 3 consecutive nights, I think, and we finished it off on the Sunday night, and it was awesome. One of the questions that you get asked, or that I get asked, and other people get asked about this kind of game is it replayable? Because there is a narrative element to it, there is a story to it. Is the game replayable? Absolutely. So although I know the rough story of what happens, this isn't like a Time Stories or a Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective where, okay, well, you could replay it, but there's virtually no point because you know everything. In this game, the game itself, around the story, is so good, and there are so many different resolutions and there are so many different variable setups that it does work out really well. So yeah, very replayable, choosing different characters as well. Yeah, thoroughly, I can't recommend the game enough. It's currently my number one game. It's the number one game that I'm enjoying right now. Mage Knight is of course my number one game, although I haven't played that in 3 years. So yeah, very much enjoying Arkham Horror. Enough about that, probably more next month. Wildlands from Martin Wallace. I've played that twice. I'm really enjoying Wildlands. It's a very simple game, but it's got enough thoughts to it, its decisions. I mean, it's a quick game. It plays in like 45 minutes. It's a tactical skirmish game. It's card driven. It's just nice. It's quick because it's easy and it's something different. And I really like the fact that Martin Wallace is very versatile with his designs. Osprey Games have done a good job with the production of it. And yeah, Wildlands is a game which is popular and I'm really enjoying it. So that's that. Me and Vicky played Exit the Secret Lab. Now, me and Vicky love escape room games. I love them, she loves them. We like playing them together. But then when I look at how many of the Exit games there are out, and I'm like, how many have we played? 2 of them. Wow, why have we only played 2 of them? So we're going to be playing a lot more of them over the next few months because I'm planning something in the summer relating to escape room style board games. And we played Exit the Secret Lab. Very much enjoyed it. Really love the Exit series of games. Obviously biased because I like that sort of games. But there have been some escape room games like the Dexgate one, which really didn't get on with and thought it was just yeah, not very good really. But the exit ones, very much enjoyed it. I think we did quite well. We needed a couple of hints along the way, but otherwise, yeah, thumbs up to that one. I went to the City of Games, which is a board game convention in Bristol, hosted by Frank West, who designed City of Kings and Verdorian Gardens. And I went there. Now, I was working there, so I was demoing games all day, but there was a couple of games that I did manage to sneak in while I was there. I joined in one of the demos of Pictomania. It wasn't really a demo, it was late one evening, and Paul Harris from Handycon had been told he must play the game. So yeah, we had a very, very fun game of that, a very laugh out loud game of that. It was very good. I also managed to join in on one of the games of Tiny Towns, which went down exceptionally well at City of Games and just kept being borrowed more and more by people over the weekend. I think it got played about 25 times in total. I demoed it, me and Ben demoed it probably about a dozen times, and then people just kept coming back and wanting to borrow it. So yeah, Tiny Towns from AEG. I also played that over in the Czech Republic, which I forgot to add to my list. Other games that I played. Now, on the Friday night, I played a game of Hyperspace, which I'm not going to tell you my opinion about because I'm professionally involved in the project. In terms of me and a friend of mine have helped write the rulebook for this game, and we really needed to get the rulebook tested. So what I did is I sent the rulebook to 3 other people beforehand, and then we sat down and we tried to play the game from the rulebook. It's always a good test, put a rulebook through its paces, and it helped highlight a couple of bits in the rulebook which weren't clear, and we've gone back and we've fixed them. So although I'm not going to give you my opinion of the game, lots of people are saying, oh, how different is it to Twilight Imperium 3rd or 4th edition? Because it's a Space 4X game. It's got big, hexes on the board. Well, sort of elongated hexes. It's got miniatures. You've got spaceships. You're rolling dice to fight each other. It's a completely different game. A lot of people have said it's kind of like Cthulhu Wars in space. And whereas Twilight Imperium and most other 4X games are, okay, you've got your base and you build stuff up and then you travel to somewhere and then you might fight somebody and then you establish a colony and then that base builds up. This is nothing like that in a way. Well, so the way that it works, and it's a little unusual, but what it does is it gets the action going very early on. So as soon as you move into an empty sector, you explore that hex. That hex has then been discovered. Anybody can build a colony on that planet. You don't need to have ships there. It can be the other side of the galaxy. Because the ships in the game, the figures in the game are kind of the military aspect of the game, which you do have to build a base and then travel. So yeah, if one player explores a planet and then they get the first opportunity to build something there, there's normally a few continents and then somebody else can build something there. And then they can suddenly start building a colony. So it does get people into the action fairly quickly. I reckon you could play a full game of it in about 3 hours, possibly even 2.5 when you know what you're doing. I think they've advertised it as 30 minutes per player, but I think it would take a little bit longer than that unless you're all super quick at playing the game. But it does go quickly. Turns are fairly simple, each of the actions, but it's putting everything together. It's finished on Kickstarter, so I'm not trying to sell you the game. It's just lots of people have asked me for information on it. And then finally, after City of Games, I went to the Clumps Games group, played Symphony No.9 because I was doing a review of it, so I wanted to play it 4-player because I've played it 2-3-player and I wanted to play it 4-player. And also I played Wildlands that night as well. So that is all of the games that I played in February 2019, although I cheated and I've actually gone into the 1st and 2nd of March because I was still over in the Czech Republic. So yeah, that's everything I've played February and up to 2nd of March. Now, moving on to the Patreon changes for the month. As mentioned at the start of this video and a lot of the other content that I create is only possible through my Patreon campaign. So thank you very much to all of my patrons. It was an interesting month. I had probably the best start to the month that I've ever had with regards to the Patreon, in that a couple of extra people joined and nobody left. And that's very unusual. Normally what happens is people get the bill at the start of the month and then for various reasons say, all right, I'm going to cancel my support and, whatever. So normally, other people who run Patrons will know this, the start of the month normally sees a bit of a drop. I didn't see a bit of a drop until the middle of the month when lots and lots of people left. Now, a few people have left for no reason or didn't give me a reason, and a few people have told me the reason, and it's totally understandable. I've no problem with it. It was a very odd month in that, from about the middle of the month onwards, it went in a steady decline. It ended up being a net positive over the month, which is always good. So let's go through some of the new supporters. So we have some new executive producers. We have Richard Breeze. Thank you very much, Richard, for all of your support, not just on the Patreon, but on everything else. Richard Breeze is the designer of the Key series of games. He's a client of mine. I've become friends with him over the last few years. And yeah, really, really appreciate your support. Thank you very much. Rachel Coe, thank you very much, Rachel. Hope to teach you some more games at Manacon this year. Matt Fell, apologies if I mispronounce your name, Matt, but thank you very much for your support. And Tony Boothleiden has upgraded his support from producer to executive producer. So thank you very much, Tony. And I think I'm seeing you at Aircon. Correct me if I'm wrong. New producers. Right, so we've got a few new producers. Phil Eaton, thank you very much, Phil, and welcome to the Slack channel. Glenn Neistad, thank you very much, Glenn. Brian Smith, Bodo Grassman, I think I've pronounced your name correctly. Spencer Slow, thank you very much, Spencer. Tony Makos, thank you. Stasia Doster, thank you very much, Stasia. And Ian Mabbott, thank you very much. And a couple of people have upgraded their pledges to producer level, which is Joel Stout and Baylor Peak. Thank you very much to you two for upgrading your pledges. A couple of other thank yous to people who've started supporting at a lower level. Simon Kennelly, who I've been friends with for many years. Thank you very much, Simon, for your support. And Chris Lowe as well. Thank you, Chris. Now, moving on to the contest. So every month I do a giveaway contest through the Patreon campaign. And this month the contest was to give away a copy of Lincoln from PSC Games and also True Crime Legends. So let's go over to the computer and let's do the draw. So here we are on the spreadsheet of Ultimate Power. So we have all of the executive producers at the top. Now they are entered 3 times into the giveaway. And then below that, we have the list of producers. So everybody who is a producer or above automatically gets entered into the contest. So now let's put in the formula. So we're doing a round between formula and let's see what it comes out with. So it's number 278. So let's scroll up and this is Rich Hickey. So congratulations to Rich. I will drop you an email and I'm not sure whereabouts you are, but I will somehow get these games to you. Now moving on to the contest for this month, which will be drawn on at the start of April. And this is to win a copy of Chocolate Factory from Alicat Games. Now, normally at this point, I would be putting a box in front of me, but I can't. So I'm going to put an image on screen because Chocolate Factory is not out yet. In fact, it's actually live on Kickstarter right now. But if you want to win a copy of it through the Patreon campaign, then, as I say, producers and executive producers already get entered into the contest. I will do the draw at the start of the month. I will also try and get it signed by various people. I don't know, can't promise anything, but we'll see what we can do. So, thank you very much to Alicat Games for sponsoring this month's contest, and that's Chocolate Factory. Right, moving on. Content that I have produced in February. So, I did a couple of reviews. I did the review of Teotihuacan and Symphony No.9, which were voted on by my Patreon supporters as the games that they wanted me to review for this month. So I did both of those. Thank you very much. I did podcast 67 with Frank West, and we were talking about, well, it started out as a bit of a joke, and we thought, oh, let's do a whole podcast about spreadsheets. But actually what we talked about is Frank's experience within the system, within the industry of running a Kickstarter, the logistics, the production, all that kind of thing. I wasn't sure if it was going to make an interesting topic of discussion or not, and it might be boring. People might want to hear just about the games. But actually, I thought it was quite interesting, and a few people have said that they enjoyed it. So if you want to hear about that, go and check out podcast 67. I also did another pod blast. So this was intended to be one of those 10 to 15 minute short pod blast interviews, and I ended up talking to Gil Hover for, well, over half an hour. Gil Hover launched his latest game, High Rise, on Kickstarter and then pulled it after one day. Went away for 2 weeks, retooled it, did a few things different, and then relaunched it again, and that's on Kickstarter right now. And I thought, great topic of discussion to get Gil on the show to go, right, you launched a game, you spent months or years preparing for it, you put it on Kickstarter, and then you pulled it after a day. Going through the reasons why he did that and why he feels that that was the right decision to make, which I agree with, now having seen what else he's done. Right, next, Dominant Species Marine. Okay, so that went live in March, but I did it in February. So I'm saying it was a piece of content that was created in February. That has gone live now. So yeah, if you want to learn how to play Dominant Species Marine, which isn't out yet, but it will be out later this year from GMT, games. This is a new version of Dominant Species. It's not a second edition, it's a standalone game, and it's quite a different game, although it does have a lot of similarities. So go and check that out if you're interested in that. The key market video is done, but Richard's still not let me know when I can make that live, hopefully this month. What else? I've been working on various rule books, the On Mars rulebook, the Hyperspace rulebook, and a few other ones. And I did a live Q&A from the Czech Republic, which was very enjoyable, actually. Live Q&As are normally just, me sat here at home answering questions, which I'm happy to do, but it's fun and it's enjoyable. But doing one live over in the Czech Republic, where I kept disappearing every 5 minutes to go and grab, Vlaja or Matoush, the designer of Alchemist, and talk to them about things. So if you want to check that out, there's quite a lot of information about CGE stuff and what they're doing for this year, and possibly what they're doing for next year. But yeah, go and check that out. Things that I have got planned for March. Tomorrow I leave for Aircon, which is another UK board game convention. This is one up in Harrogate, so it's wrong side of the Pennines for me because I'm from Lancashire, and it's 6 hours drive. Thankfully, Steve Manser is driving me, so because I can't drive that distance anymore. Forget the fact that I haven't got a car, but yeah, I can't drive that distance anymore myself, but Steve can. So thank you very much, Steve, for driving me. I will be working there. I will be demoing lots of different games for lots of different publishers. I'm about 80% booked now. There are a few spaces left. So if you are at Aircon, please stop by, say hello. And if you want to try out one of the games that I'm demoing, great. I'm also running a few games of On Mars there. And yeah, I get back from there on Monday. And then Tuesday, fly to Portugal, where I've got a couple of days in Lisbon, meeting up with Vitor Lacerda, who's going to show me around the city. And then I'm going to Lyriacon. And I'm not back from Lyriacon till the 19th, I think. Go and see Captain Marvel at the cinema. And then on with the rest of the stuff. Suddenly I've got then 10 days to fit in everything that I need to do for the month. So yeah, it's going to be a bit crazy. I will be doing 2 reviews. The voting is currently underway for all of my producers and above who want to vote on which games I'm going to be reviewing this month. The current leaders are Newton and London 2nd edition, neither of which I've played. So that's what I'll be doing when I get back from Portugal, is I will be playing those games 2 or 3 times and then quickly doing a review of them. That'll be fun. I'm also going to be doing another podcast. I'm going to be doing podcast 68, which I'm hopefully going to be recording with Ben Maddox. And I'm going to be doing that at Lyriacon because Ben is going to be there. And the topic of discussion is going to be narrative games or narrative in games. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing that. And I'm planning on another live Q&A, again, from Lyriacon, where I might get some random other people who happen to be there to join in on the show. So that is everything that I've got planned for March. As I say, if you are at Aircon, then please stop by and say hello. And if you're at Lyriacon, obviously stop by and say hello. Lyriacon isn't work for me. It will be the first gaming convention I have been to, I think, for 4 years, which isn't work. Every single other one I go to has become work. And although Lyriacon is not going to be work, I'm not going to be paid for any of my time there. I'm going to be doing some game development. I'm going to be helping do the final tweaks on Mars. I'll be finishing the rulebook for On Mars, and I'll be doing some playtesting and development, hopefully, for the new What's Your Game games, which are going to be coming out this year or next year. So yeah, although part of it is work, it'll be quite good to get away, and I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, that's everything. As I mentioned at the start, if you enjoy this video and any of the other content that I make, then please consider supporting me over at patreon.com. Your support means that I can carry on making more videos, and hopefully taking the channel in more new directions once I get more time to be able to make some more videos. So yeah, until next time, take care and thanks for watching. Gaming Rules is proudly sponsored by Game Toppers, upgrading your gaming experience. Visit GameToppersLLC.com.